Thank you so much for tuning in. You are watching the Vuyo show. We are at the Lighthouse right here in Hudson Yards or Hudson River in New York City to celebrate 30 years of South African democracy. And we're doing it so with shared interest in a very beautiful and an elegant way. But of course, celebrating at this particular gala. I'm so excited to go inside, check it out. And I hope that you, of course, as well, are ready to receive what we have in store for you today. I am Vuyo. Let's go inside. We're still celebrating 30 years of South African democracy, and right next to me I have one of our most favorite superstars from South Africa, Jen Sue, ladies and gents. Jen, how are you doing?
I'm doing so well, thank you. I'm truly honored to be here, 30 years of democracy and freedom, celebrating Mandela's legacy, and just celebrating a wonderful night here in New York City at the pier at Chelsea, and seeing so many friends. I mean, that Felicia Mabuza Sato is a great friend. We were hugging, seeing Eric Adams. We had a great selfie together, and just like a lot of moments tonight which were so special. I loved seeing Mako Ndlovu as well. She's one of my favorites, and she really makes South Africa so proud.
One word to describe what it feels like being South African somewhere else around the world. What would that word be?
Well, the word is pride. Now, I'm a proudly adopted South African, and I lived in South Africa for 8 years. I worked for the Sunday Times and SABC3 Expresso, so it really means a lot for me to always celebrate South Africans. And I think South Africa and New York especially have a special connection. When Mandela was freed in the early 1990s, it was really New York where he went, and he was met by the then mayor, David Dinkins, the first black mayor of New York City. And then, of course, the UN, also located in New York, was what helped to make that transition, South Africa's transition into a democracy. So I mean, South Africa and New York, there's a lot of special, vibes and connections there.
All right, so that is such a heartfelt and heartwarming experience that you're sharing with us. You can hear behind us, they're about to finish off the program. So we're gonna go back in, and thank you so much, Jen, for joining me. Right next to me, I've got Louise from Shared Interest, who's part of the board. And I'd love to find out from you, Louise, what it is that you, as Shared Interest, were anticipating for tonight. Did you get all of that?
I didn't know what I was anticipating, but I got that and more. I think just bringing all the history together, having Desmond Tutu's family here, it was inspiring. You have the Lion King performance. I mean, it was unbelievable. So I was very impressed, very proud to be part of this organization, and congratulations to the team and everyone who put it together.
You raised over $40,000, which was your target for tonight. How does that feel, and what about the impact that you're going to make with that support?
Yeah, it's incredible. We do so much to allocate funds to make sure that entrepreneurs just get a chance, right? To make sure that they're able to unlock the potential that other people get so easily. And so just knowing that they'll be having the opportunity is it's why I'm here. So it's incredible.
Thank you so much for joining me, Louise. Of course, Louise from Shared Interest. Right next to me, I've got someone who I admire very, very much. We're both dressed in black, so that makes me feel so much good.
But gosh, I feel so good that we're passing on the baton.
I am honored to be standing next to South African broadcasting legend, ladies and gents, Felicia Mabuza.
Aren't you too young to know who I am?
I grew up watching you on my television screen, and I'm so honored to be here with you. But please do share with us what brings you to the Shared Interest Nights tonight.
Well, I'm a member of Shared Interest, and I've been a member since 2005 when I was heading tourism for South Africa in the US, and brought tourism to start working close with Shared Interest, thanks to Dana Katzen. The rest is history. Managed to be awarded, managed to MC for them for a while, managed to interview Mrs. Sisulu for Shared Interest Dinner. So, and we got Tuli Madonsela here, John Carney, and now Wendy Lohabe. So that is amazing.
I love that. And I mean, in your experience, right, you've been in the broadcasting industry for many years, and you've now kind of passed the baton to us as young people. What does being South African mean to you, especially being in the US and getting to kind of wave the flag very, very high? What does it mean being South African to you?
It is my biggest pride. I always say my body is in America, but my heart is in South Africa. And every night, every day, every morning, whatever you want to call it, I'm always encouraging someone to go and experience the beauty of our country, to go and experience the warmth of our people. I mean, Cape Town, Johannesburg, Durban, we have the most beautiful country in the world. Port Elizabeth, East London, oh my gosh, you're making me homesick now. So that's my pride. That's my pride, and my biggest pride was doing what Nelson Mandela asked us to do, go back home and serve. And I feel I did my job.
You've really,
And I've passed it on to your generation now.
you've really been raising the South African flag very high here in the US. If there was that one word that you'd like to teach our audiences are from all over the world. And South Africa obviously has a very special place in my heart because I am South African. But if you were to teach our audiences a word in the South African language to really exemplify, this night, what would that word be?
Ubuntu. Ubuntu, as you rise, raise somebody else. Mutu ke mutu ka batho ba bang, umuntu ngumuntu ngabanye. Somebody helped you get to where you are today, and it is important that you live up to that. So honor those who came before you. You cannot be what you cannot see, and that is why you are doing what you're doing now. You loved what we were doing, and look at you, girl.
I love the word that you said, Ubuntu, and that's spelled U-B-U-N-T-U for the audiences at home, called Ubuntu.
Ubuntu means warmth, hospitality, caring, giving, and we all can. Whether we have little or we have much, we can still give. A smile, a compliment, a genuine compliment. That's Ubuntu.
Thank you so much for joining me on the show. This is the Vuyo Show, ladies and gents. And right next to me, as I said, I have a legend. Me and her are going to take some photos, catch up before we say goodbye. And to you at home, thank you so much for tuning in. Right next to me, right about now, I've got the Reverend Mia from Africa USA Radio. I hope I said that correctly.
Yes, you said it very well, very well, very well. Thank you.
I love the radio voice that just popped up there now. You switched in your radio voice.
Yeah, I'm used to it now.
Reverend Mia, we are here. Shared Interest put together a beautiful, beautiful celebration tonight. What does 30 years of South African democracy mean to you?
Well, since I'm old now, it means giving back. It means giving back to our youth, our young people in South Africa. That is all what we are doing right now. But we also recognize the work well done for our forefathers, the Mandelas, the Sisulus. We thank them, but now it's our time to give back to our young people.
So Africa USA Radio has done incredible work. I'd like for you to share a little bit more about the work that you get to do as a radio station. And what's next?
We are doing a lot at the radio station. What we are doing, we really promote African gospel music in the United States of America because we want them to consume our music. We want them to understand and follow and love our music. But what is next, like you asked me a question now, we are having a live recording. We are bringing about 6-7 artists from Africa in July the 6th. It's going to be right here in Brooklyn, New York. This year, July this year.
Okay, well, I'm hoping the Vuyo Show is invited to cover that event.
We want this show, we want you to come and cover this show, this event, and partner with us and support us and promote it.
Yes. Well, you heard it from him. The Vuyo Show is going to be there July 6th, of course, in Brooklyn for the Africa USA Radio Show, celebrating incredible African gospel artists. We'll be seeing you there. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to talk to you. I've been looking forward to talk to you, and I love it. And we're here celebrating the 30th anniversary. It's a good time to reflect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for coming. This is the Vuyo Show. Stay tuned. South African broadcasting and journalism hero and icon is right next to me. Ready, ladies and gents. How are you doing?
Absolutely fantastic. What a wonderful night.
Yes. Share with us, 30 years of South African democracy is absolutely iconic and incredible. What does that mean to you?
So, as a child who watched apartheid fall, who watched the promise of democracy, who knows what it's like to live freely in my country, to vote for whoever I want to vote for, to choose a career of my choice, choose where I want to live, it is absolutely special. But there's a sadness because I know not all my countrymen and women are enjoying the same liberty and the same freedom. So as we celebrate 30 years, we also are reminded of what we haven't achieved. So it's a bittersweet experience.
I heard you on stage, on the Shared Interest stage, you were moderating a panel. What is this experience particularly for you, being in New York and having to see other South Africans here? How did you enjoy that?
So I think for me, what stood out with the panel was that there's a universality. People all over the world have an impulse for freedom, for development, for progress. And I think today, here in New York, exemplified that it doesn't matter where you come from. We all want to build our economies. We all want to give our children a bright future. So as I moderated the event, I was reminded of the universality of these values, of the importance of the human chain, of the importance of gathering not around identity but around values and the things that we all hold dear.
I was very inspired by that conversation that you had on stage. If there was one word to describe South Africa that you can say, this word exemplifies and really gets to show who we are as a people, what's that one word and what would it be?
Resilient. Resilient. We are a resilient people. We go down, we lift ourselves up. We will have the most awful experiences socio-economically, and then there's a Rugby World Cup and we celebrate. We're just a resilient and hopeful people, and that's not a bad thing in this world.
It's definitely a good thing, we believe. Thank you so much for joining me on the Vuyo Show. Ready? Ladies and gents, ready? All right, ladies and gents, you're still watching the Vuyo Show. Live from New York City, we are at the Shared Interest 30th anniversary of South African democracy, and next to me, I've got one of the people who made this happen. You were highlighted a lot on stage. Everyone was kind of giving you a shout out for putting this together. What's different about this year from this event than the past couple of years of this particular celebration?
So I think it's because it's our 30th anniversary and the way that we're thinking about the future and the next generation of our work. So not only are we celebrating 30 years of South Africa's democracy, but we're celebrating 30 years of shared interest, impactful work in Southern Africa and the next generation in the way that we're combining our work to infuse cultural learning with HBCU students and bringing them to South Africa as well so that they can then have hands-on experience. So I think that also, one of Shared Interest goals in its history of work is to create ties between the U.S. and South and Southern Africa in the way that we work, because we can create stronger bridges in that way. And in a cultural context, too, we can expose learning with the work that we're doing with HBCU students, also teaching them history about South Africa and apartheid and what racism is like in South Africa as well as the U.S. and how we can work together to build a more equitable nation.
And what's the future looking like for this particular event and also for Shared Interest this year, particularly some of the things that you're going to be doing or looking to do? What would kind of those entail?
So we do have our a partnership with NASDAQ, where we're going to be having an HBCU summit through our HBCU project. So we have a few partners aligned with that as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a bell ringing on June 21st at NASDAQ. So an evening bell ringing that will include our HBCU students that have been impactful in our work, and as well as the partners and sponsors who have supported this initiative as well. So that's one thing that's happening. Then later in the year, we are planning and attempting to plan a delegation of HBCU students to come to South Africa. So hopefully all goes well with our fundraising initiative, and we'll see after tonight if we can really make that happen. But it's because of the supporters that actually make our work work.
Yeah, I mean, the goal was raised and it was met tonight, $40,000.
So excited.
And it exceeded that, which is absolutely amazing. Now, please do share with us who are the supporters for tonight, who sponsored, who came on board to support.
Sure. So some of our sponsors are the Bergman family, who are South African but live here in New York. We have Tim Smith, a longtime supporter of ours. He was our former board chair, and you heard the acknowledgments of him tonight. We have Capital Group, who came in as well to support this great work. And then we have a lot of other supporters, including Citibank as one of our honorees. They were the presenting sponsor for the evening as well.
We saw, and I mean, you guys did an incredible job. It looked absolutely amazing. Everyone looked great, and I think we as the Vuyo Show had an incredible time. So thank you for inviting us and having us here.
Thank you for coming.
See you next year.
See you next year.
That is all we have in store for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, we are here in New York City. Shared Interest put together a beautiful, beautiful night where we're celebrating 30 years of South African democracy. I hope that you enjoyed that, and of course, looking forward to coming back next year to celebrate this.